Welcome back to 10-Minute Tips and More. This is episode 2, Create Catalog Item with UI Policies using Studio IDE. This video is called Service Support Request. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to utilize a service portal catalog item to generate a support request that creates a REC and RITM record. Application specifications. Within Studio IDE, we'll use an existing CDP app created in episode 1. We'll create a catalog item with variables and UI policies. From the service portal, we'll test the app by creating a service support request. Using the classic service management UI navigation, I'll show you how you can review, insert, and update the REC and RITM records. The audience for this application is going to be the citizen developers. I'll show you how to create a service portal catalog item to submit service support requests. And then using the classic service management UI navigation, I'll show you how you can review, insert, and update the support requests. Okay, I've logged into my developer app and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to click on Studio. It's going to open up the Studio interface. And now what we'll do is we'll select the application that we created in 10-Minute Tips episode 1, the Citizen Developer Project. Now that was labeled CDP in the last one. I went ahead and updated that, but we'll go ahead and open up that application. Now we're going to do a couple things in this episode. We're going to add a catalog item to the application, which will allow users to enter a service support request. We will add in some UI policies to the catalog item, and then I will demonstrate how you can view the REC and RITM items after they're created. To create the catalog item, we're going to go up to Application File. We're going to select Service Catalog, Catalog Item, and we're going to click Create. We'll go ahead and put in a name for the catalog item. We'll select the service catalog. For the category, we're going to select Can We Help You? It's all we need to supply at this time. We'll go ahead and submit this. Once that is done, we'll be able to come down to the bottom. We'll go ahead and add in our variables for the. We'll go ahead and click New here. This first variable is going to be a reference variable, and we'll give it a name, requested on behalf. Now we do need to specify the type specification to associate the reference to a user table. In this case, we'll select sysuser and we'll select that table. We also want to make sure that we make this mandatory, and we'll go ahead and click Submit. We'll go ahead and add another variable here. This one is going to be called Service Support Type, and it is going to be a select box. We're going to also make this mandatory. And we need to go ahead and save this or submit this first before we can get at the feature that allows us to add in the choices. So down at the bottom we see question choices. We'll go ahead and select New. Our first choice is going to be Data Architecture Consultation. We'll add in another called One-Time Data Load. Another option will be Form and Logic Development. And our last choice will be Data and System Integration. And we'll go ahead and submit. If we refresh the question choice list, we'll see that we now have our 4 options under the service support type. So we'll go ahead and click Update, and we'll move on to our next variable. Go ahead and click New. And this one is going to be priority. So this is going to be a select box as well. We're going to make this mandatory, give it a label. And again, for select boxes, we need to submit this first before we can enter the choice list. So we'll come to the bottom, and in choices, we'll select high. Medium, and low. And we'll click submit. If we refresh our choices, we'll see the 3 choices we just entered, and we'll add in our last 2 variables. The first is going to be a single line text. It is going to be mandatory, and we're going to call this short description, and we'll click submit. And now we'll add in our last variable. This will be for a multi-line text. This we're not going to make mandatory at this time. This will be a long description, and we'll go ahead and click submit. If we once again refresh the variables list, we'll see that we have our 5 variables that we wanted to add. One other thing to note here is we're going to want to put an order in these. The lower the order number will position the variable higher in the form. Okay, now that we've got our order in place, we're going to go ahead and click update. And now we should be able to see what the form looks like. We can go ahead and click the Try It button, and we can see here's our requested on behalf of, our service support type, priority, short description, and long description. It appears we've got defaults being set here, so we'll want to go ahead and remove those defaults. So let's go back to the catalog item. Let's see the service support type, and we'll select type specification. And there's an include none. We're going to go ahead and check that and click update. And then we're going to do the same thing for priority. Okay, so now we'll go in and we'll take a look at it again. And we can see that the service support type and the priority now are showing none. So that forces them to select something for both of the options. One last thing we're going to do before we move on to trying the catalog item is we're going to add a field and then add a UI policy to this catalog item. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is go up to the table definition, and we're going to create a new field. And we're going to make this a type string, and we're going to call it one-time data load additional information. We're going to give it a max length of 4,000 characters, and we're going to click submit. Okay, next we're going to go ahead back into the catalog item, and we are going to add another variable. We'll scroll down to the bottom, we'll click new, and we're going to go ahead and make this a multi-line text. We will make it hidden to start. Question there will be one-time data load additional info, and then we'll go ahead and submit. We go ahead and take a look at the catalog item. We don't see it, obviously, because we made it hidden. We'll go back into the catalog item, and down at the bottom we're going to click catalog UI policies. We're going to create a new policy, and we're going to describe this by saying make additional data load info mandatory. Now, under the when to apply, we have to specify a condition, and this is going to be when the support type is equal to one-time data load, and we'll go ahead and click submit. We need to do that in order to be able to set the policy actions. So in here, we're going to select new. We're going to select the variable name, and this is the one-time data load additional info. And what we want to do is make it mandatory and visible. We'll go ahead and click submit. Then we'll go back to our catalog item and we'll try that again. What we did is we set up UI policy when one-time data load was selected to display the one-time data load additional info. Now we've got that working, but we don't have it in the right place. So let's go ahead and go back to the catalog item itself, and we'll scroll down and select the variables. Now we can see that we've got the order on the variables. We're going to go ahead and give this an order of 60. That way it will display at the bottom. And we'll go try this again. So this time if we select one-time data load, we can see that the additional info shows up at the bottom. So it's a simple way to put a UI policy on a variable on a catalog item, and based on a selection to display that variable and make it mandatory. We're ready to go ahead and try our catalog item. So we're going to go ahead and select some options here. We'll pick a user. We'll select the service support type of one-time data load, and we can see our UI policy kick in there. Select hi, and then we'll put in a short description for the support that we need. And then we'll add the additional one-time data load info, and we'll click order now. As we can see, the rec is created for the support that we just submitted. And now we'll take a quick look at how we can view this information. We'll go back into our classic interface, and in the navigation we will type the name of the table, sc_request.list, and hit enter. And now you can see here the rec 10005 is the latest entry that we put in. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see the request item, and if we click on that, we'll see the catalog information that we submitted. Before we finish up, there's one last thing I want to show you. We accessed the catalog item through the Studio IDE by clicking on the Try It button, and that brought up the catalog item within Studio IDE. This time we're going to take a look at the catalog item through the service portal. So from the service portal, you can either click on Request Something or Get Help, and we'll do it from Request Help. And then we'll need to click on the Can We Help You? Now this shows up because we've tested it a couple times of late, and it's showing up as a popular item, but otherwise you would be able to select from the catalog items. We'll go ahead and click on Service Support Request. Brings up the form. Same thing, at this time it's in the service portal. We can select a user, select our support type, the priority, and a short description. And then click order now. Okay, to wrap things up, the purpose of this video was to demonstrate how to utilize a service portal catalog item to generate a support request that creates a rec and RITM record. We used the Studio IDE to access the existing app from episode 1. We created a catalog item with variables and UI policies. And through the classic service management UI, we learned how to view the rec and RITM tables to review, insert, and update records. We created a service portal catalog item to take on our service support requests. We then saw how we could review the rec and RITM records through the classic service management UI navigation. Our next episode, episode 3, we're going to create a workflow and nav modules using Studio IDE. We'll use the app and catalog item from episodes 1 and 2. We'll create a workflow to insert the data into a custom table, and we'll create navigation modules to view the rec and RITM records. Here's a little bit about the author. You'll find my email, my LinkedIn address, as well as my YouTube channel. Come check out some of my videos. Thanks. Take care.